You've been lied to about vitamin C your entire life. Not a small lie either. A fundamental misunderstanding that changes everything about how you should think about this molecule. Because vitamin C isn't really a vitamin, not the way you've been taught. And once you understand what it actually is, you'll never look at that bottle of supplements the same way again. Here's what they tell you. Vitamin C is a basic nutrient. Eat your oranges, take your supplement, check the box. Simple. But when you compare vitamin C to every other vitamin in your body, something doesn't add up. Most vitamins are maintenance molecules. They keep systems ticking over. They support ongoing biological processes in the background. Vitamin C doesn't work like that. Not even close. Vitamin C is a stress survival molecule. It's your body's fire extinguisher. It sits there quietly until something goes wrong, and then your body burns through it at a rate that would shock you. Infection hits? Your vitamin C stores plummet. Inflammation flares up? Gone. Physical injury. Your body is pulling vitamin C from every available source to deal with the damage. Emotional stress, intense exercise, even low oxygen environments. All of them drain your vitamin C reserves like someone pulled the plug on a bathtub. Think about what that means for a second. This isn't some passive nutrient floating around waiting to be useful. This is an emergency response molecule. Your body treats it like a first responder. The implications are massive, especially when you realize most people are walking around with barely enough to handle a normal Tuesday, let alone actual physiological stress. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Almost every animal on the planet can manufacture its own vitamin C internally. Dogs make it, cats make it, goats are particularly impressive. A goat under stress can ramp up its vitamin C production dramatically, synthesizing grams of it per day to cope with whatever threat it's facing. The body recognizes the emergency and floods the system with this molecule. Humans can't do this. We lost that ability somewhere in our evolutionary history. The gene responsible for the final enzyme in the vitamin C synthesis pathway is broken in humans. It's still there in our DNA, sitting there like a rusted machine, but it doesn't function. We are completely, 100% dependent on getting vitamin C from what we eat, every single day, no exceptions. Let that sink in. We carry around a fire extinguisher that we can never refill on our own. We have to find the refill externally, constantly, or we run dry. And most people are running drier than they think. Drop a comment if you've ever had your vitamin C levels actually tested. Most people haven't. The results might genuinely surprise you. Because here's the thing about vitamin C deficiency. It doesn't always look the way you'd expect. When people hear vitamin C deficiency, they immediately think of scurvy, bleeding gums, loose teeth, sailors dying on ships in the 1700s. And yes, scurvy is real. It's the end stage of a severe, prolonged vitamin C deficiency. But that's not the problem most people face today. The modern problem is something far more subtle and far more common. It's called subclinical scurvy. Subclinical scurvy doesn't announce itself with dramatic symptoms. It whispers. Slow wound healing. Bruising easily from minor bumps. Catching every cold and flu that circulates through your office. Chronic fatigue that coffee can't fix. Persistent low-grade inflammation that never quite resolves. Joint stiffness. Poor recovery after workouts. All signs that your vitamin C reserves are running dangerously low, even though you'd never connect them to a single nutrient deficiency. You don't need bleeding gums to be in trouble, but if you do notice your gums bleeding when you brush, or they look unusually red and inflamed, that's not a dental problem. That's your body screaming for vitamin C. The fix isn't a better toothbrush. It's addressing the deficiency at the source. Now let's talk about something most people have never heard about vitamin C. The oxygen connection. This is where the science gets genuinely fascinating. Your cells have a built-in oxygen alarm system. When oxygen levels in a tissue drop below a certain threshold, sensors in your cells activate and trigger a cascade of survival responses. One of those responses involves vitamin C directly. Your body uses vitamin C to help cells respond properly to oxygen availability. When vitamin C levels are adequate, this system works smoothly. Cells can sense oxygen levels accurately, adapt to changes, and maintain efficient function. When vitamin C is low, The system breaks down. Your cells start suffocating, not dramatically. You're not gasping for air. But at the cellular level, oxygen utilization becomes impaired. Energy production drops. Recovery slows. Endurance tanks. You feel tired for reasons you can't explain. Foggy in ways that sleep doesn't fix. And here's the connection that ties it all together. Anywhere in your body where you have inflammation, you also have reduced oxygen. They feed each other in a vicious cycle. Inflamed tissue consumes more oxygen. Lower oxygen triggers more inflammatory signaling. Vitamin C is sitting right in the middle of this loop, trying to manage both problems simultaneously. This is why people with chronic inflammation are almost always deficient in vitamin C. Their bodies are burning through it constantly, trying to fight fires on multiple fronts. And unless they're actively replenishing it, they're falling further behind every day. The fatigue connection runs even deeper. Vitamin C directly supports your mitochondria, the energy factories inside every cell. These tiny structures convert the food you eat into usable cellular energy. Vitamin C helps them burn fuel efficiently. It also recycles other antioxidants that protect the mitochondria from damage. And it helps your body absorb iron, which is essential for carrying oxygen in your blood. So when vitamin C is low, you get hit from multiple directions simultaneously. Your mitochondria can't produce energy efficiently. Your antioxidant defenses are weakened. Your iron absorption drops, meaning less oxygen in your blood. Your cells can't respond to oxygen properly. No wonder you feel exhausted. It's not laziness, it's biochemistry. Now let's get into the supplement industry, because this is where things get ugly. 90% of the vitamin C sold in supplements is completely synthetic. It's called industrial vitamin C, and it's manufactured from corn sugar in factories. The process is chemical, not natural. The vast majority of it comes from overseas manufacturing facilities where the priority is volume and cost, not quality. How cheap is it? You can buy 2,000 pounds of synthetic vitamin C for under $3,000. Do the math on that. Per bottle, the raw material cost works out to roughly 30 cents. 30 cents! So when you see a bottle on the shelf for $5, $10, $15, understand the economics. You're paying a massive markup for a synthesized industrial chemical that bears almost no resemblance to vitamin C as it exists in nature. In real food, vitamin C doesn't exist as a single isolated chemical. It comes as a complex, a whole package of interconnected cofactors, enzymes, bioflavonoids, and synergistic compounds that work together. Ascorbic acid is just one piece of that puzzle. When you isolate it and synthesize it in a factory, you're getting one fragment of a much larger system. It's like ripping the steering wheel out of a car and calling it transportation. If you're going to supplement, read the label carefully. If it just says ascorbic acid with no food-based source listed, you're getting the industrial version. Look for supplements derived from actual food complexes, where the vitamin C comes with its natural cofactors intact. Here's another piece of the puzzle that most people completely miss. And it's absolutely critical if you eat a standard diet. The chemistry of vitamin C is structurally very similar to glucose. Sugar and vitamin C look almost identical at the molecular level. They use the exact same transport channels to enter your cells, the same doors, the same pathways. This means sugar and vitamin C are in direct competition with each other. They're both trying to get through the same limited number of doorways into your cells. And guess which one wins when they're both present? Sugar. Every time. Glucose floods through those transport channels and effectively blocks vitamin C from getting in. This has enormous implications. If you're eating a high-sugar diet, or if you have elevated blood sugar from insulin resistance or diabetes, your cells are being starved of vitamin C even if you're consuming adequate amounts of it. The vitamin C is there in your bloodstream, but it can't get inside the cells, where it's needed. It's locked out, blocked by glucose. This is why diabetics and people eating high-carbohydrate diets are almost universally deficient in vitamin C at the cellular level. Standard blood tests might even show acceptable levels in the serum, but inside the cells where the work actually happens, there's a drought. The sugar is winning the competition, and vitamin C is losing. This single mechanism, the glucose-vitamin C competition, explains a huge number of the health problems associated with high-sugar diets: poor wound healing, frequent infections, chronic inflammation, low energy, weakened immune response. These aren't just generic consequences of eating badly. They're specific, predictable outcomes of cellular vitamin C deficiency caused by sugar-blocking absorption. So let's talk about what actually works. Where should you be getting your vitamin C? Because oranges are not the answer. Despite decades of marketing, oranges aren't even close to being the highest source of vitamin C in the food supply. Bell peppers contain significantly more vitamin C per serving than oranges. So does papaya. And one of the absolute best sources is something most people overlook entirely: sauerkraut. Raw, unpasteurized sauerkraut is loaded with vitamin C. The fermentation process does something remarkable. The beneficial bacteria involved in fermentation don't produce vitamin C themselves, but they protect and stabilize it. The fermentation actually concentrates the vitamin C, making it more bioavailable and easier for your body to absorb. Half a cup of quality raw sauerkraut daily provides a substantial amount of highly absorbable, food-complex vitamin C. Kimchi works similarly. Any properly fermented vegetable is going to be a strong source. The key word is raw, not pasteurized. Pasteurization involves heat, and heat destroys vitamin C. This is exactly why commercial orange juice is essentially worthless as a vitamin C source. Think about it. The juice gets pasteurized at high temperatures to kill bacteria and extend shelf life. That same heat annihilates the vitamin C. So what do the manufacturers do? They add it back in. But what are they adding? Not the real complex. They're adding that same cheap synthetic industrial ascorbic acid we just talked about. Then they slap a label on the front saying, "Excellent source of vitamin C," and charge you a premium for flavored sugar water with a dusting of factory chemicals. Check the label yourself next time. Flip the bottle around, read the ingredients. You'll see ascorbic acid listed as an additive. That's not vitamin C from oranges. That's the 30-cent a bottle industrial chemical being passed off as nutrition. You're paying for marketing, not health. So here's where all of this comes together. Look at the modern environment we live in. High sugar consumption blocking vitamin C absorption at the cellular level. High stress burning through whatever reserves we manage to build. Chronic low-grade inflammation constantly demanding more. Synthetic supplements providing fragments instead of the real complex. Processed foods stripped of natural vitamin C content. Pasteurized beverages with fake fortification. Every single factor in modern life is working against your vitamin C status. A perfect storm of depletion. The fix isn't complicated, but it requires intention. Get real vitamin C from real food. Fermented vegetables like sauerkraut and kimchi should be staples. Bell peppers, papaya, and other whole food sources need to be regular parts of your diet. Then, and this is arguably more important, cut the things that block it. Reduce sugar. Lower your carbohydrate intake. A low-carb approach directly improves vitamin C absorption by removing the glucose competition at the cellular level. And account for your stress load. The more physical stress, emotional stress, or exercise intensity you're dealing with, the more vitamin C your body is consuming. Scale your intake accordingly. This molecule isn't what they taught you. It's not a simple checkbox vitamin you tick off with a glass of orange juice. It's an emergency response system, an oxygen regulator, a mitochondrial support compound, and a stress survival mechanism all in one. Most people aren't getting nearly enough of the real thing. If this changed how you think about what's actually in your supplement cabinet, subscribe. We break down what the health industry won't tell you, so you can stop guessing and start making decisions based on what the science actually says.